Students, today we are going to discuss amino acid synthesis in living organisms as well as in laboratory through various chemical processes. Organisms other than plant differ in their capacity to synthesize amino acids. Microorganisms can produce almost all the amino acids they require in their cell through the nutrient media available to them. In contrast, animals can produce only limited number of amino acids. These amino acids are called non-essential amino acids, while the rest of the amino acids which are essential amino acids has to be supplemented through nutrient dietary media. These amino acids are isoleucine, leucine, valine, phenylalanine, tryptophan, histidine, lysine, threonine, and methionine. In addition to these essential amino acids, some conditionally non-essential amino acids are also required. The term conditionally non-essential amino acid mean these amino acids can be synthesized in the body under normal conditions, but sometimes when cell's demand of these amino acids increases, they have to be supplemented from the outer source. An example of these amino acid is the arginine, which can be produced in abundant quantities from urea acid cycle, and these quantities are sufficient for an adult organism, but for growing children these might not be sufficient. That is why it has to be supplemented in their diet. The amino acid molecules that are immediately available for use in metabolic processes are called amino acid pool. Dietary protein sources may differ widely in their composition of essential amino acids. Generally, proteins from animal sources are more rich in essential amino acids, for example, meat, milk, and egg proteins. Plant proteins, on the other hand, lack one or other essential amino acids. For example, wheat protein gliadin has insufficient quantities of lysine. Similarly, zein, which is a corn protein, has low quantities of lysine and tryptophan. That is why it is always a good idea to combine different plant protein sources to supplement each other. One of such combination is the bean, which is one of such combinations are bean, which is low in methionine, and cereal grain, which has low quantities of lysine. Depending on the metabolic requirements, amino acids are synthesized, are interconverted into other amino acids, and transported to the tissues or cells where they are required the most. If nitrogen intake in the form of amino acid equals to the nitrogen loss, this situation is said to be nitrogen balance, and this is a normal condition for most of the healthy individuals. If nitrogen intake exceeds the nitrogen loss, this is a positive nitrogen balance. That means excess of nitrogen is being utilized for synthesis of tissues and other cellular material. If nitrogen intake is less than the body requirement, this condition is said to be negative nitrogen balance, and it happens when organisms suffer from malnutrition. Once the amino acid enters into the cell, the amino group is available for synthetic reactions. The flexibility of these metabolic reactions could be affected by a process called transamination, which is the transfer of amino group from an alpha amino acid to an alpha keto acid. These reactions are catalyzed by a group of enzymes known as aminotransferases and transaminases. Recall that alpha keto acid, like pyruvate or alpha ketoglutarate, has a carbonyl carbon which is attached directly to the carboxyl carbon, and this molecular arrangement is similar to that of amino acid. That means both of them could be interconverted from one into other. Amino acids differ from other classes of biomolecule in that because synthesis of each member of this class has a unique pathway. However, carbon skeleton of each of these amino acids are readily available as a metabolic intermediate from citric acid cycle. Citric acid cycle or Krebs cycle is a major catabolic process in all aerobic organisms. This cycle is comprised of series of chemical reactions that result in the release of stored energy in carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And this happens through the oxidation of acetyl CoA. In addition to the energy production, these cycles also provide precursors for certain amino acid molecules. In animals, all non-essential amino acids are derivatives of glycerate, 3-phosphate, pyruvate, alpha-ketoglutarate, oxaloacetate, erythrose, 4-phosphate, or ribose, 5-phosphate. Glutamate dehydrogenase catalyzes the reductive amination of alpha-ketoglutarate to glutamate. Then a transamination reaction takes place in the synthesis of most of the amino acid. At this step, chirality of the amino acid is established. Glutamine, proline, and arginine are synthesized from glutamate precursor. Similarly, aspartate is synthesized from oxaloacetate, and it acts as a precursor molecule to synthesize asparagine, methionine, threonine, lysine, and isoleucine. Alanine, valine, and leucine are synthesized from pyruvate. Erythrose 4-phosphate act as a precursor molecule to form tryptophan and phenylalanine. Tyrosine is synthesized from phenylalanine from an unusual way from the hydroxylation of phenylalanine. Similarly, serine is synthesized from 3-phosphate glycerate and act as a precursor molecule for glycine and cysteine. Histidine is formed from ribose 5-phosphate. We are not going to see detailed mechanisms of all of these reactions, but this is just an overview for biosynthesis of amino acid in the body. Next, we are going to discuss amino acid synthesis in laboratory. Of course, these processes are similar to that happening in the living organisms. That is why these processes are called biomimicking processes. Naturally occurring amino acids can be obtained by hydrolyzing proteins and separating the amino acid mixture. Even so, it is often less expensive to synthesize the pure amino acid. However, in some cases, an unusual amino acid or an unnatural enantiomer of an amino acid is required, and that necessitates the synthesis of amino acid in the laboratory. We are going to consider 4 reactions which are very important for amino acid synthesis. These are listed here. These are reductive amination, amination of alpha haloacids, Gabriel malonic ester synthesis, Strecker synthesis. These are 4 different reactions. We will see one by one all of them, how using these reactions we could make amino acids in the laboratory. And of course, once you understand how you can make a normal amino acid, you can think of an unusual amino acid or an amino acid which is an maybe an ortholog of the present amino acid. So these are all it is happening. So we are going to see maybe these 2 reactions today, and then we will see next 2 in the next class. In reductive amination, ketone and aldehyde molecules are used to synthesize amino acids. This is one of the best methods to synthesize amino acids. We know that ketones are molecules where the carbonyl carbon is attached to different functional groups. Then these are the aldehyde molecules. Again, you could see this, how similar are these aldehyde molecules and ketone molecule. One difference, aldehydes have at one end and hydrogen group another end, and alkyl are any R group, any reactive, any functional group. But on ketone, on both sides, you have 2 functional groups. There is another term which you are going to see in the coming slides is the amine. In amine, there is a carbon and nitrogen. They are bound with double bond. So that those compounds which have this particular situation, these are called amine groups. So no matter of what type of R functional groups are present, it doesn't matter. if they fulfill this condition, that nitrogen and carbon are joined together through a double bond, these are called amine. Let's come back to the point. So in reductive amination, ketones and aldehydes could be converted into amino acids. When an alpha ketoacid is treated with ammonia, the ketone reacts to form an imine molecule, and this imine molecule is further reduced into an amine by excessive hydrogen and palladium as a catalyst molecule. This overall reaction is similar to a biosynthesis as is happening in living organisms. We have seen that alpha ketoacid is a metabolic intermediate of citric acid cycle, which is converted into an glutarate, and which is a precursor for many amino acid molecule. That is why this overall process is called biomimicking process. That means it is mimicking the synthesis reaction which is happening in biological systems. This overall process is a single step process. Carboxylic acid could not be reduced under these conditions. Under these conditions, and the end result of this reaction is a racemic mixture of amino acid. A racemic mixture means amino acids of different chiral conformations. Because whatever you are going to get an amino acid from here, they are not of the same enantiomer type, so there will be different enantiomers. So there will be some which are L type, there will be other which are D type. So that is why it's a mixture. You will purify this afterward. So this is an example. This whole reaction, which is called reductive amination reaction, could be performed in just single step. In previous slide, you see there are two different steps. Of course, you do not need these different steps. Simply, you could maybe add this hydrogen and palladium in this reaction, and you will be simply getting this form to this form. I again messed it up. Okay, so this is an example for 3-phenyl 1,2-oxopropanoic acid. Of course, this is to make phenylalanine amino acid. So you could see what is the end product. This is the phenylalanine. So you wanted to produce a phenylalanine. So for every amino acid, you have to start with a particular carboxylic, particular ketonic acid or aldehyde group. आपको पता है ना, reductive amination सिर्फ aldehydes and ketones के ऊपर हम वर्कआउट कर रहे हैं. So any particular, so that means any group, any R group which is related to our required amino acid will be used. So in this case, this is the 3-phenyl 1,2-oxopropanoic acid. You used it for reductive amination process. You added the ammonia, excess ammonia here, and what happened? You could imagine the intermediate step, and this was intermediate step was COO negative plus NH4. If I could, this is already written there. So this reaction will be converted into our normal COH. So this will be an H group here, and then it will be a phenylalanine. So this is a racemic mixture, as I already told you, has an equal amounts of left and right-handed enantiomers of a chiral molecule. So that is why it's a racemic. I think it is the right time to understand now the biosynthesis of amino acid in living systems. This overall process starts with the alpha ketoglutaric acid, which is an intermediate metabolite from a citric acid cycle, and this alpha ketoglutarate aminated by using ammonia as an aminating agent, and this overall process is reduced using NADH, and the process is basically catalyzed by glutarate dehydrogenase enzyme, and which reduce this ketoglutaric acid into an L-glutamic acid and NAD as molecule. This overall process is happening, and what we are doing in the laboratory is somehow mimicking this overall thing. That is why it is called a biomimicking process. So one point to be noticed is that the product of enzyme mediated reaction is a pure L enantiomer of glutamic acid, whereas in laboratory we are getting a racemic mixture of both L and D type amino acids. Of course, this similar reaction, this similar L-glutamic acid could be used for synthesizing other amino acids, and this overall process is called the transamination process. And again, this is a biosynthesis reaction in the body where one amino acid molecule is converted into another amino acid molecule by the action of enzymes called transaminases. And these transaminases just simply transfer amino group from one amino acid to the other carboxylic acid. In this case, for example, this is the oxalic acid, and this oxalic acid is an acceptor molecule for amine group, and by the end of the day this oxalic acid is converted into L-aspartic acid. So this is an example of transamination of alpha ketoglutaric acid into an alpha aspartic acid. So this was one chemical strategy how to make amino acids. So you use aldehydes, you use ketones, you use to do reductive amination process, and in this reductive amination process, first you are going to transfer the amine group, and then you are going to reduce it by the use of hydrogen or any other possible thing, and then that starting material will be converted into an amino acid. So there is the second type of amino acid synthesis reaction which we are going to discuss today is called the amination of alpha haloacid. As we all know, what are the alpha haloacids? These are the halogen derivatives of carboxylic acid. For example, 2-chlorocarboxylic acid means a carboxylic acid where a chlorine atom is attached to the second carbon. This reaction is also called Hell-Follard-Salinsky reaction, and it is a very effective method for introducing bromine at an alpha position of the carboxylic acid. This results in the racemic mixture of alpha bromo acid, and this racemic mixture could be converted into a racemic alpha amino acid by direct amination using ammonia. This overall process is shown here down in the slide. Any carboxylic acid of choice could be used. Of course, this choice of amino acid, this choice of carboxylic acid depends on the amino acid which we are looking for. So in this case it's just general reaction. So and carboxylic acid is converted into a alpha bromo acid using bromine or a salt of bromine. This alpha bromo acid is then aminated using ammonia, which replaces this bromine atom, and the result is a racemic mixture D and L type of amino acid. And of course this racemic mixture is then purified to achieve D type or L, pure D type or L type amino acids. This is the example for the formation of phenylalanine using this reaction. So this overall reaction, if you want to use for phenylalanine, we could start the reaction with using 3-phenyl propanoic acid, and this 3-phenyl propanoic acid is brominated using bromine or a salt of bromine, and which results in the addition of bromine to an alpha carbon to the alpha carbon, and this bromine could be replaced by using excess of ammonia, which is a strong nucleophile agent, and displace the bromine atom, and this amination is the end result and a racemic mixture of salt of phenylalanine, which could be purified according to our requirement. Normally, the direct alkylation results in poor synthesis of amines, but in this particular case, this poor synthesis is overcome using excess of ammonia, which is a strong nucleophile and could easily replace this bromine atom, and as a result this carboxylic acid could be converted into an amino acid through an effective method. So today we have seen these two type of amino acid synthesis reaction. One was the reductive amination, and now the amination of alpha haloside. So here is a review question for today's synthesis process. How you would use bromination followed by amination to synthesize the following amino acids. These are glycine, leucine, glutamic acid. Please take some time to resolve the question. In future lecture, we are going to discuss Gabriel malonic ester formation as well as Strecker synthesis reaction. So please keep watching.